Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. Let's talk about something today that we often avoid, and it makes perfect sense that we'd avoid it. And that is our resistance to truth. Hmm. Yeah, let's do this, shall we? It's stronger than we even imagine it to be. And here we all appear to be here on this thing, this journey, the walk, whatever you want to call it, that we call spirituality, our spiritual practice, the path, whatever outward form or forms this may take for you. In fact, you don't have to be a student of A Course in Miracles to derive tremendous benefit from these videos. Of course, these videos are all about A Course in Miracles, but understand this, that the Course is a self-study curriculum. It's universal in theme and universal in application, which is very important, meaning that anyone can do it regardless of background. Hmm. It's totally inclusive. So wherever you find yourself on your journey, welcome. You've come to the right place. How can I say that, even if you never open this course ever? Because you found it for a reason. There is a message here for you from our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. You'll know what that is when you hear it. What that exactly will be for you, I have no idea. I can never know, which is why I broadcast. But you'll know. That's what's directly relevant and most important. We're more resistant to truth than we imagine. Okay, here we are on the spiritual path, and we like sometimes to think of ourselves as really cool or really chill or really with it and, well, partly awakened. We like to think of ourselves in all different kinds of ways. But we're not fully awakened because we appear to be here having this conversation. And anytime that you run off and judge and see yourself as a separate individual, that means that there is forgiveness work to be done. Now, along the way, you could have had multiple different beautiful experiences. It's quite common indeed, for people to get glimpses. And sometimes it's more than a glimpse. Sometimes it's a good long look at what is. And then we get sucked back in to our daily lives and our email and telephone calls and stuff. It's just what appears to happen. So it's not flattering for us to take a look at our own resistance to truth, but it's necessary because spirituality is an adult endeavor. It is about our being completely honest with ourselves. And we need to bring this complete honesty to the path, or we'll simply sit and spin and think we're enlightened as we see ourselves as separate and run off and judge. And, there is no separation of any kind. Truth simply is. There's no need for us to resist it, but we're afraid of it. And spirituality is about acknowledging this and dealing with it. It's what we avoid because we want to keep certain things to ourselves, quite honestly. You may find yourself really cool, really nice. You may think of yourself as a very kind person, and perhaps others would readily agree. Sometimes people would even say you're underestimating yourself. Well, when we think of ourselves as individuals, as an ego, we're grossly underestimating ourselves. When we think of ourselves as a physical body, that is an insane limitation, and that is a gross underestimation of who, what, and where you really are. There's no need to fear that, but we all do. So let's keep talking about it. If we didn't, we wouldn't appear to be here, and this conversation would not be happening. It would not, in fact, be necessary. Truth is beyond all of our concepts. It's beyond the physical body completely, which we intuitively, deep down, all know. We know this, and we've always known that there's more to it than just meeting the needs of this. This is highly finite and fallible. Happily, it's not who we are. And we all know this, or we would not be interested in spirituality. I mean, at some point, you have formulated the thought that, man, there's more to it than this. Of course, quite naturally. Of course, there is. So we want to do life and we want to be cool and we want to appear to be spiritual, whatever that actually means. I don't actually have any idea what that means at all. As we run about, we may find ourselves to be very kind, as we were talking about earlier, and think that, okay, well, I'm very forgiving. Great. Is your forgiveness total? Because if it's not total, it's not at all. That's a central idea from A Course in Miracles. Another way of looking at this is that you can't love on 99.9% of the people in the world and extend them kindness and save a special little disdain and hatred for that other 0.1%. Opposition political parties, that's an example, right? Maybe your ex. I mean, there are many different possible examples of this, but we think we can wake up while still harboring our own little forms of judgment and keeping them walled off and hidden off to ourselves. We cannot. It is literally all or nothing. You are the all. This world that we appear to inhabit, these bodies that appear to encase us, nothing. Illusion. Now, this course cuts right to the chase. There is no world. Part of you has always known. We, of course, have made it concrete and solid and real and wobbling and spinning on its axis. And we have been taught our entire lives that this is where it's at, right? This is where we are, and it's who we are. So deal with it. And along comes A Course in Miracles, pointing to truth. Truth is beyond words, it's beyond the scope of this course. All this course does is point the way. All any spiritual teacher can do is point the way. Truth is beyond all of our concepts. It's beyond space, time, galaxies, and universes and stuff. So even right here in the midst of our busy lives and email and bills and stuff that breaks down, including the physical body, just saying, truth can be experienced right here, right now. When else? There is no other time. Right now. It can be known. Even in the midst of all of our daily chaos, truth can be known, experienced. This course points us to this experience. And we're afraid of it because we think it's going to extinguish us and we will die. We think we'll be cast into oblivion because, well, we've identified with this and we've identified with the ego, which is a simple mistake, actually. The ego is a psychological construct, a false sense of individual self that thinks it exists apart from God, which it does not. Where are you? Hmm. It's a false idea that insists that you are an individual self-sustaining survival unit. So's everybody else. So go get yours before your brother gets it instead. Hmm. It's a mistake. It is not true. It is illusion. If you're hearing all this for the first time, you might find it incredible. You might find it deeply relieving, actually. Clarification of something that you've always deep down known, i.e., your perfect oneness with God. How about that? There. Pixelated image on your screen just said it. You're invited to tune in for more of this. We all need to hear it because we don't live our lives accordingly. We think that awakening wipes us out. Well, certainly it's the end of the ego, but the ego doesn't exist anyway. It's not death to awaken, but life, life. So, what happens when we experience this existential dread? Because that's what it is, honestly, isn't it? You may have had many examples of experiencing this dread, and you might even be experiencing it right now. I don't know. As we experience this, the reason we're not all completely awakened and enlightened, and the reason that our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, doesn't just rip the veil off of our head so we can see things as they are, is that that would terrify most of us. So we appear to get what looks like a process. Really, it looks to be a gradual process of awakening. And honestly, there are days when it feels like it's really, really long. Well, we can all relate to that. The reason it appears to be long and drawn out is because our inner teacher knows what we're capable of awakening to at any given time, on any given day. So, what we do here is allow ourselves to be led as far as we're able to be led, as far as we're willing to be led on a given day. The Holy Spirit is not outside you. There is nothing outside you. It is rather a part of our mind that will point the way, if only you listen and pay attention. By the way, when something lands for you in this or any of these videos, or actually any spiritual talk that you ever hear, or any spiritual document, book, or text that you ever read. Any insight is the Holy Spirit. It's your inner teacher, our inner teacher, talking to you. When something lands, it is not this pixelated image on your screen. And that's nothing special. It's your relationship with your inner teacher that matters. So, pixelated image stresses it. It's kind of funny to refer to yourself in the third person as pixelated image on your screen, but really, that's what's going on. It's the Holy Spirit speaking to you. That name that you see down there in the corner by the subscription button, by the way, subscription button, Reverend Tomas Garza, that's a collection of sounds. We give our own names, which are collections of sounds. We give that collection of sounds all of the meaning that it has for us. If you've done the workbook for students, you'll remember some of those seemingly bizarre early lessons in the workbook. One of them is the idea that we've given everything that we appear to see here all of the meaning that it has for us. In other words, we can wipe our meaning away by accepting the Holy Spirit's interpretation of it. We don't see things as they are. This course is about our learning to see them as they are. When our perception is completely clarified, then and only then does awakening occur. Our clarified, 100% clarified perception is instantly and immediately and effortlessly translated into knowledge, knowledge of God, awakening. Our natural state. Ready? Good. Oh, and if you're not, don't worry about that. Remember, we all get a gradual process here. I mean, could you awaken in a blinding flash in the next 15 minutes? Yes, actually, technically, you could. If you do, will you please notify me so I can interview you right here on this channel? Because I would love to have that conversation if that happens for you today. And if it doesn't, don't worry about it. We simply show up and we allow ourselves to be led as far as we're willing to go on this given day. And then we get up tomorrow and we do it again. So if you're new to this course, welcome. These videos are for experienced, new, intermediate students and non-students, by the way, of A Course in Miracles alike. All are welcome. It's a universal self-study curriculum. Yes, it uses Christian terminology like the Holy Spirit, but it also uses terminology from Buddhism and Eastern philosophy. That's where ego comes from in the spirituality sense, after all. So there's always a message for you, whatever that was here, because we're about to wrap up. I don't know, but it is your inner teacher speaking to you. So you would do very well indeed to pay attention to that message. And again, if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and click that arrow here. That is a prompt, and you'll be invited to join us. Several videos appear each week, and well, we're talking about A Course in Miracles. So along the way, should you have questions, I welcome them. This discussion forum on YouTube is the perfect place to ask. So if you've got them, please leave them here, and I will see you again soon. Thank you, as always, for joining me.